Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wild West Wednesday. Let's see what's happening in the chat. I see a certain Nick Tringali's machinations. Happy birthday that should have been yesterday if it was a leap year, Nick Tringali. Hello to you and to A Maple Mystery. Hello. And DJ Larry Parker and Pixie Cow and the Deluxe Tux and Slacks. And yeah, anybody else who might be lurking in the chat, welcome. How's my Wednesday been? It's pretty good. I've just gotten started today working, and I'm going to continue on stream. Thank you for the sort of happy birthday. So do you celebrate it today, or do you celebrate it yesterday? Or do you just celebrate it, like, very briefly in the minute between 11:59 and midnight? I don't know how leap year birthdays work. I mean, I do, but I don't at the same time. It's tricky. Yeah. Anyway, mostly yesterday. Okay, so you do it before, not after. Interesting. Cool. Dealing with people not filling in timesheets and not responding to messages at work. Sigh. Well, that's unfortunate. I hope this stream will relieve some of the stress and the tedium of that. You don't think of today as your birthday. Okay. Well, I mean, your birthday is February, so I guess March doesn't really count as February, does it? Anyway, what am I doing today? I am slowly but surely getting closer to having a fully playable alpha build of the game. That means that the game is playable from start to finish. The difference between alpha and beta is that alpha does not have final or close to final assets in. Beta, of course, is once you have, like, actual non-placeholder things in. So yes, my priority is getting a fully playable alpha so that I can get it tested and so I can move forward with polish and all of that good stuff. So, pretends to nod knowingly. Okay, well anyway, so I am coding right now. I'm coding the last of the companion excursions, the one involving your driver, Lola Johnson, and I'm coding one of the two because the other one requires a little bit more stuff than this one does. This one is just a simple walk around and find items sort of thing. But it does involve me having to switch around the configuration of this room because I'm doing the old trick of just using one room and just turning things on and off to portray different areas of the room. So this room this sequence specifically has 4 different backgrounds. I've already got the background. This is the background for room configuration 1. So I want to do the background for room configuration 2, which let's go ahead and turn off. These things stay on, but room 1 trees path, room 1 dapple, and room 1 dapple 2 get turned off. So we're just going to stay with that. I have room 2 trees here, and I have room 3 trees here, and I have room 4 trees here. So I obviously already planned this out when I was doing this. But then I also have room 2 foreground. Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that I had that. So this is something I did a while ago, which I am glad to see I stuck with keeping like this. So let me go ahead and do this. Let's get rid of that. Ground 2 obviously already has the shade stuff here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of some of this shade stuff here. If you all were here for my Frontier Friday stream, you might recognize this. I was working on this dusk version of this for a previous encounter. And so I'm just going to go ahead and continue doing that here. But I'm going to get rid of this because I really shouldn't have done that. So this background this background has an entrance exit from the south, and you can't go left or right. It's pretty much just here. So I want to have a little clearing here because there's a pond. So let me get rid of that. Let's do room 2 trees, turn those on. Okay. So for room 2 trees, what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this bit here and make the pond part of this area here. So Hello, Warg8. Hello, nice to be here. Welcome. This is your first time here. Welcome. Alright, so I basically just have to check my... well, I also want to get... Actually, you know what? I'm going to get rid of these grass borders in general because I don't really like them here. And that also means I have to get rid of them on the shadows again on the ground. But the reason I don't like them is because I don't want to define... I was kind of using them to define the borders of where you could walk, but there's a more organic way of doing that, and that's just putting other things in. So let me go ahead and get rid of these shadows. And then I'll add some more dapple to just make it a little bit more interesting. Also, I already added this brown bit here, which is sort of the dirt meshing with the grass. So let me go ahead and define that a little bit more just to show that this is the path down. This is really the only real path that we've got. So this is going to be the pond over here. This is a nice little dirt ground thing. I'm just going to do this where the pond is going to be. Pond is going to be up here. Just do that for now. And then of course I also have to figure out like where the walkable areas are going to be for that, because you know there's always that. Room 3, room 4, pond 5. Right. These 5 trees look like they're almost part of a puzzle. Oh, thank you for the subscription, Electric Dragon UK. Yeehaw indeed. Okay, so let me add some more shading just so that I can say that these trees are not part of a puzzle. They're just trees. They're just part of the decoration. They have nothing to do with any puzzles. They're just nature. You know you've been playing too many adventure games when you see things and think, oh, that's a puzzle. Unless they're deliberately placed there to be a puzzle. In which case, which can happen. I mean, I've had it happen to me. I've seen it in other games I've played, and I've been like, oh, this is clearly a puzzle. But I don't want that to be the case here. Sometimes a tree is just a tree. Yes. Suspiciously prominent trees. It's basically just, you know, repeating assets to make things look... You know. Or is this one of them would one it? What? Also, hi, Rocky Johan. Okay, so let me check my design doc here and make sure that I remember all of the things. So I have a pond, I have some red leaves, and I have some broken glass. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start doing the pond first. And also I wanted to throw in some stuff on either side here to kind of discourage or let the player know that there's no exits on either side of the screen. So I'm gonna see if I can get some bushes or something that cannibalize from some other place here. Let's see here. Surely I have like bushes or foliage from another background where I have that as a... See, the problem is that I had my dusk background where I did have that, but I changed them all to dusk, so I don't really have that anymore. But let's see. Camp. Let's see if I can... My big tree from camp, if I can use that somewhere else. And that doesn't really match, but something like this just to indicate that there's like no passage over this way. Nah, I don't like that. No, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put in like a bush or something just to show that there's no passage this way. It doesn't even need to be that big, it just needs to be like here, just in the style of these bushes here. So let me do that real quick. Let me add that to the top here. Just want to make sure it's a nice self-contained background. And also let's do the perspective grid so I can kind of do it in perspective, even though trees and things rarely grow in perspective. But just to kind of keep it going there. There we go. Easy enough. Also, I should probably make it a slightly different color so that it doesn't blend in with the foreground, because the foreground's pretty dark. So I want to have this be a little lighter, but also not super light. So maybe like, maybe this color? That's a little better. But it also, I also kind of do want to make it blend in a little with the foreground, just for the sake of it. Okay. Nick Tringali has to eat lunch and we'll be back shortly. Okay, hello, screen name taken. I like the third tree especially, a big construction barricade, yes. Hello, Ivy Dupler, tree stream, yes. And look at Aaron Z Best, look at all these wispy woods. Correct, yes, hello, good to have you both here. I am drawing lots of woods in order to code a nice woodsy encounter of woodsy proportions. Actually, here's another good way of making it stand out, is to put my highlights over the foreground bits that might blend in. Meanwhile, I will get this a little darker here. Just to differentiate. And also get that going there. Finally, we've got a nice little highlight here with a slightly lighter and smaller brush. Alright, let's throw in some more texture here, because why not? Why not, indeed. Woodsy encounter, you say? Sure. Would a woodchuck wood... Wait, how does it go again? I believe it's how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. And I don't know the rest. As my Settlers of Catan playing Fred would say, have you got wood for sheep? I've never played Settlers of Catan, but I definitely sat in on a game of Catan being played, and I was in the corner giggling like an idiot anytime they said things like, I'll get wood for this, because, yes, I am a child. I acknowledge that. It's fine. Okay, so here we have our bush on the left, or sorry, on the right, and now I'm going to duplicate my layer. No, that's not what I meant to do. I want to duplicate the layer, not duplicate the whole screen. And then I will transform it horizontally and go whoop, and put it over here as well. And there we go. Now we have two blocked side bits here. Let me push this over this way a little more so that it's not quite so symmetrical. Alright, push that down on layer 2 trees and go ahead and add some shading here so that it doesn't look like it's floating on the ground. Also, let me get rid of the foreground here. Alright, good. Now, you know what? I'm also going to, because this tree looks a little funky here, I'm going to add some grass with the magic of an eraser. Check that out. Magic eraser. Mr. Clean style. There we go. Alright. Now the tree doesn't look so weird. Maybe. Anyway. It's like those old Batman comics where the Joker has a boner. Right, yes. A boner used to mean a prank or a practical joke, apparently. But not anymore. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Okay, so as I said before, I need to have a pond, some broken glass, and some red leaves, which are, appropriately enough, because Ivy Dupler is in the chat, it's poison ivy. Today, a boner is the body's practical joke when I try to sleep. Well, good for you, Rocky Johan. That means you're young and virile. Let's see, poison ivy forest. So I'm looking at a reference here. Poison ivy grows on trees, so I'm going to put it on, excuse me, I'm going to put it on the tree. I don't know why I said red leaves, because poison ivy doesn't have red leaves. But, whatever. Okay, so that's a very distinct leaf pattern, so I'm just going to draw some poison ivy on one of the trees. And, yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that as a separate object, because that's going to be a separate object. Poison ivy. Okay. So that's going to be growing on one of the trees here, as I said. Make it this color. I want to make sure I get the leaf shape right here. It's a tricolor leaf here. Poison ivy growing on tree. Google image search to the rescue. Here we go. I guess it kind of has reddish leaves, so I'll do it green with reddish. Why not? Make it more interesting. It'll definitely stand out more. Leaves of 3. Yes. Okay. So let's put it on this tree over here. Why not? Is there like a rhyme or something? Leaves of 3 have to pee or something? I don't know. Okay, so I want to do, obviously it has to have a vine, so we'll do the vine first. And it'll be sort of this color, but not really enough to differentiate it from everything else. More McCartney. Leaves of 3, let it be. I see. Got it. Leaves of 3, let it be. Don't get caught with ivy. So it'll be coming around from behind here, I guess. Wrapped around the tree. Leaves of tree. He, he, he. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll just do this. Make it a little bit more sinister looking here. Okay. So I'll add some shading just to also make it look like it's not just floating on top of this tree. This is one of those things I'm gonna probably juice up also. I'm gonna make the leaves like blowing in the wind and stuff, but for right now, I'm gonna just do it in... Well, you know what? Let's do this so I can do it later. Poison ivy leaves. No, not piss and ivy leaves. Poison. I need to learn how to type again. Poison ivy vine. Now, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and juice it up now on stream, because why not? Why not? Leaves of 3, shame on me. Okay. Alright, so the leaves now will be here. So yes, once again, let's have a look. It is 2 on the side and 1 on the outside. That's a better indicator there. So we'll... There we go. It's a nice little poison ivy leaf shape. Leaves of 2, shame on you, right? Not sure, actually. Oh, look at that. My Amazon Fresh order has been delivered. What perfect timing. That is sarcastic. That's not perfect timing. Leaves of orange, shame on... never mind. I had poison sumac one summer. That was the worst summer ever. I remember being at a baseball game in 95-degree weather and in agony. Oh dear. Well, you can always keep in mind that Stephen King, famous author Stephen King, has a terrible poison ivy story, which he writes about in his book On Writing, where he basically, when he was a kid, he was out in the woods camping and he wiped his ass with poison ivy after going to the bathroom. And yes, you can imagine the effects of that. So, if that's what inspired him to become a horror writer, maybe we should all wipe our asses with poison ivy. Or not. Is 95 hot or cold? 95-degree weather in Fahrenheit is very, very hot. It's like probably close to like 40 or so in centigrade. That story and the babysitter who farted on him are the most memorable stories from the book. See, I don't remember the story about the babysitter who farted on him. But I do remember the poison ivy one. The toilet paper poison ivy one. Okay, I'm gonna take a small break to go get my groceries, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm a Celsius kind of guy. Hello, the Starwink, and hello, Kinney Games. Welcome, welcome. Alright, so continuing now, I'm drawing leaves for a poison ivy plant. And these ones, actually, now that I'm looking at it, need to be... I'm going to do the trick here where I'm just going to do it manually. But these ones here need to be a little darker because they're in the shadow of the tree. So do that real quick. Everybody, Kinney Games is making a game called Signal and Echo Iris is Missing. I remembered the name. And you should check it out. It's pretty cool. I did not like it when King dissed Lovecraft's writing in the book, even though he's a fan of him because I like that story, but that might be because the most eccentric actor in Sweden recorded a reading of it in the 80s. I see. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to... Oh, well, of course. We all gotta look out for each other. We all gotta support each other. It's a rough business out there. Alright. So let's add a little shading to the leaves here. And make them at least look a little different. Alright, and now the shiny bits here. Although I should probably add a little dent in the leaf here just to make it a little bit more interesting visually. And then worry about the other stuff later. Okay, and now get this a little lighter. And also I was going to add some red, so let's add some red. Although I'm going to make it more of an orangish red. Maybe more of that color, sort of a muted red. Because I don't want to... I want to make it stand out, but I don't want to make it stand out like... I don't want to make it look like there's blood on the leaves, basically. So the red seems to come out from the inside of the leaves on some of these, so let's do... that. A little bit of the dark there. Just a little pattern on the leaves. Very extremely zoomed in pixel leaves here. Cool. And then finally, also to make it look like it's not floating on anything, I'm going to add some little artificial shadow underneath here. Just to give it a little bit more depth, if you will. There we go. Alright. So, now what I'm going to do is this. Well, first and foremost, I'm going to darken it ever so slightly, because it does stick out a little bit. So let's darken it and up the contrast just slightly. See how that looks. Oops. That's a little better. The fact that it's going to be moving is, I think, going to be a little bit more useful to see, even though it's not important, but it's just, you know, it's something you can look at. So I'm going to, let's go ahead and save this, and I'm going to crop this right now. And I'll get rid of this, because we don't need that right now. Something you can look at, I feel that, lol. Yeah. Sometimes you just need something you can look at so that you don't have an empty background where nothing is happening, because then people get upset that there's no interactivity. So you want to avoid that. Alright, so let's save this as... Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the trick here of the very opaque, slightly opaque thing to trick AGS. So we'll save this as desktop vine, and we will then save this as leaves. Okay, and then while we're at it, let me go ahead and get this foreground stuff happening. Keep those separate just because. But room 1 foreground, I want to go ahead and actually I have that somewhere else, but for now let's just do this. So room 2 foreground, obviously we're going to have in 2 layers, so no, that's not what I meant to do. So let's save this as desktop. Wait, hold on. No. Before I do that, let me crop this so that it's not. Hold on. Canvas size, we want it to be pixels. Well, it has to be the same size anyway, so whatever. Alright. Whatever. Cut and paste. So we save as foreground 1, and we save as foreground 2. Okay, very good. Forget all that. I didn't merge visible. Yes, I did merge visible. Okay, so we'll keep that there for now. AGS won't know what hit it. It often doesn't anymore. Okay, so let's take a little break from here and let's go down to Juicetown. What I like to call Juicetown. Juice Effects, which is the program that I use to animate leaves and foliage and all of that good stuff. And I used it to animate There we go. Thanks for pointing that out. Um, yeah, I don't know what it is with OBS, but OBS likes to cut out my microphone driver when I load up a program. I thought it was just AGS, but apparently it seems to be JuiceFX as well. I don't know what's causing that, but whatever. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm going to just do this here. Very simple, very nice. How many frames of animation is this anyway? It's probably only like 15 or so. I tried to be conservative. Let's have a look. Foregrounds. Get rid of. No, not room 1. Dusk. It is 19. Okay, so go down to 20 or 10, I should say. Yeah, because we're doing double time here. 10. Render. This is the first time I'm seeing this Juice app. Oh, well, okay. Well, have fun looking at it. It's pretty easy, but I like the effect that it gives you. Yeah, okay. Save frames. That'll do. Save frames under room 1 as 4. The app is called JuiceFX. Yes. Correct. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up the other two that I just saved as FG1 and FG2 because they're also part of the foreground, but as you can see here, they're their own things, so I'm going to make sure that they don't animate outside of the screen. I don't want them to like... There we go. So let's do this here. And this one is going to be the same thing. 0.04 skew at let's do 6, right? At 2. And then that way we can, if we do it here, let's see. If we do it there, then it's not so bad. And if I set the, no. If I set the point here, then that's better. Okay, and that should be okay. Render it. I said render it. Is this gonna give me a hard time because I'm using it while I'm streaming? Probably. Probably. I should get a computer that's not a potato. Or I could just render sprites that are not, you know, full screen. That's also an option. There we go. Alright. So it doesn't look like it's coming off the screen, but let's save it and then I'll test it, and if it works, great, and if it doesn't, then I have to redo it. I'll redo it afterwards when I'm not on stream and I can actually do it at a reasonable speed. So I'll save that as 4 also. Oops, not or, 4. There we go. Okay, and now for the Poison Ivy, I'll do a new one. Yes, 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 I don't care. 128 by 128, that's great. How big is our Poison Ivy thing? Leaves. That is 117 by 176, which means 176 by 176. Canvas size is 176 by 176. Now we import leaves. Or, sorry, we import vines underneath, vine underneath, and then we import leaves on top. And because we want to leave vines alone, so let's set that as the base and let's mess around. I'm thinking waves because, there we go. This is also your first time seeing it? Oh, okay. Yeah, the effects vary. I like you. Waves is like what I tend to try not to use as much because it doesn't give as good of an effect as just like the simpler the better. So like even something as simple as like, hold on, I gotta fix this. Just like a little bit of an X skew here, just like, oh look. I mean, if you really wanted to get crazy, I could have cut every single individual leaf as a separate layer because you can see you can use tons of layers, but I don't feel like doing that, so I'm just gonna do, I think I'm just gonna do waves and just keep it like that and find a better solution that's just like, oh well, this is fine. So I don't want to make it look like it's underwater, but I just want to make it look like it's blowing in the wind, which is usually how these things... Yeah, see, that's too much like underwater. But if I up the distortion, then it seems a little bit more like a leaf flapping in the wind slowly, I guess. And if you up the intensity, of course, it gets even more wacky and underwater-like. But then if you lower the speed, then it's like, whoa! So there's all these slides that you can play with. But I don't like it being that intense, obviously. So subtle is better. So I'll just keep a nice little subtle groove there, but I also want to make sure that that's a little better, I think. How easy is it to make an organic looking effect? It's easier. Can you use it for other stuff, or is it simply background stuff? No, you can use it for character stuff too. I've used it for a couple of, or at least one character animation so far. But if you want to make stuff like explode, it's pretty cool. It handles that fairly well. The thing I don't like is this like weird graphical tearing, like VSync looking stuff. Whoa, look at that. That's a little much. Let's lower the intensity. Or lower the wave intensity anyway. If I move this, you can also like, yeah, if I move the base point too, it's like the leaves themselves are not, if I do it up here, then you see it's a little bit more mellow. Actually, you know what? Putting it up there actually looks better, weirdly enough. So let's see if I play around with the distortion a little bit more. How'd you learn how to use this? Tutorial video and or playing around? Mostly playing around, yeah, and a couple of tutorial videos. It also has a bunch of presets here that you can set and then kind of see what it affects. It's pretty easy to pick up. I got it like used to it within a day of using it. So, and it makes some pretty cool effects, as you can see. So let's do 2. Let's slow it down. And let's see, say 20 frames per second, see how that looks. Yeah, I can get behind that. Also, you want to make sure that it loops. So you have to do your math to make sure that it loops correctly, that you've got enough frames to set it to loop properly. Alright, so save that as Poison Ivy under my background. Western Game, backgrounds. I love how I never rename my folders. It's still Western Game. Lamplight City is still Poe Dickens on my desktop. New folder. Poison ivy. Okay. Ivy. What number of frames to make it loop properly? So that's based on time. So as you can see here, you can adjust the time, and it really only goes between 0.5 and 2. You can adjust like the speed of the animation, obviously, in AGS, but the number of frames you're gonna get is based on like the length of time. So like I've set it to 2, so I have to set my render time to 2. If I set my render time to 1, it won't loop properly because it's only gonna do it at half of that. So see, like when it gets to the end, it doesn't form a complete loop because it's only half of that. So you can set your render time to 5 for some reason. So if you want to do extra loops for some, yeah, I don't quite understand that. But anyway, you want to make sure that it's like that time and render time are the same to get a good loop. And then your frames per second, since you're doing it at 2, if you do 20, it's going to give you 40 frames per second. So keep that in mind so that you don't get a lot of framey things. Anyway, this isn't a juice tutorial. But yeah. Anyway, let's go back to AGS now and save this and import some sprites and sit here and wait while it brings those sprites in, because I want to make sure that this is all good. Let's go down to room 51, or find room 51 if I can find it. 51, here we go. Forest daytime, foregrounds, dusk, room 1, room 2. Okay, import new sprites. No, wrong room. Forest daytime, foregrounds. Oh, Dwarven Jester, thank you for the subscription with Prime. Love the art in Rosewater. Thank you very much. What's the codename folder for the next one? It doesn't have one. I mean, it does, actually. I was trying a little to make it a juice tutorial. It's okay. Or possibly Untitled Grundislav Game 2. No. No, it definitely has... It's actually, I think it might be on my desktop. But let me look real quick after I import these sprites, just to make sure. Room 2, 40419. Import all. All right, let's make a new folder here called Poison Ivy. And import the Poison Ivy. See, so that was at render 2 and at 20, so I got 40 frames of Poison Ivy here. Which means it'll be smooth, but it'll also be, yeah, where is my other, oh, I do have my other, I just saw it, I see my other game folder right there, which reminds me I have to update my ideas text with some ideas I had. So let me go ahead and save all of these so that the sprite folder, the sprite cache can save all over again. Good stuff. And then I will do what I was gonna do. How big is ideas.txt? I don't have an ideas.txt. Or do I? Can't remember, actually. Maybe I do. Yeah. So I just booked my flights to Narrowscope. That's exciting. Anybody going to... Yeah, it's an ideas text, but it's not literally called ideas.txt. Anybody else going to Narrowscope in beautiful Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this June? I will be speaking there. I have to start putting my talk together at some point between now and June. Should probably do that sooner rather than later. Not planning on it. Oh well, that's fine. 40 frames of animation. That's almost on the level of Sarah's Eternal Whip Spear animation. Oh boy. Yeah, but she's doing those by hand, one by one. I just generated a whole bunch of them. It's really not the same at all. I have much more respect for people who do high frame animations, like frame by hand, than just plopping it in a thing. Okay, so also while I do that, let me go ahead and save this background, because this is essentially going to be room 2, because I have to add the pond as an object, and I have to add the glass as an object and everything else, so I want to have a room to play with. So let's go ahead and save this as backgrounds 51, forest daytime. Room 1. Room 2. Oh wait, no, hold on. I want to put some light dapple in too. Yeah, there we go. Oh. Room 1, dapple 1. Okay, let's reverse this. Let's duplicate it. Let's save this as room 2 dapple. And flip it. And also erase some of it, because it doesn't apply to this pond. But at least to make it look different, to make the highlights look a little different. And also, let's go ahead and make it less apparent here, because the highlights on the trees are not so highlighted. So okay, save as room 2. And not room 2 dusk, just room 2. Okay. Now, imagine painting all those by hand. I don't want to. It would be very tedious. Okay, so now we've got that. Let's go back to room 51. Room 51, here we go. So let me get rid of my hotspots, because I don't need those right now. Let's get rid of my objects, because I don't need those right now. Main background is this. Let us add 1. Yes, I would like to add room 2 to this. There we go. So that's fine. And now let me make sure that the walkable areas are okay here. Okay, so walkable areas, this is good here too. Walkable areas, let me add this here, down here, because coming in from down here. This walkable area is going to be kind of annoying, because yeah, I'm going to have to add a separate walkable area. Or I'm just going to have to lift the pond a little bit. Yeah, let me just do that. Let us lift the pond ever so slightly, because I don't want Harley to be able to walk straight up to the pond and be like, oh look, it's the pond. Oh, smack, here I am in the pond. So that's one thing to consider when you have a room that you use for multiple things and use the same walkable areas, rather than cut it up into a whole bunch of walkable areas. You just want to do this sort of thing. Okay, so pond TBD, which is to be drawn. It's a pretty uneven looking pond, but that's fine. Also, as long as I'm here, let me sort of begin to suggest the outline of the pond, because the pond is not going to move much, but I do want it to have like at least some suggestion of depth here. Like it's a hole in the ground that is sort of filled with water, so. But I am probably going to use a little bit of a squirrel's effect to at least make it like reflective and look nice. This is the Kyrandia section of Rosewater, where you're just wandering around like a nice wooded forest. Pond is hole in ground filled with water. I don't know. How do ponds usually work? Isn't that how they work? They're usually just holes in the ground filled with water, right? I have to admit I don't have much experience with ponds. I should probably also have like some cattails or something blowing in the breeze, but those will come later. Any body of water is a hole with water. It's true, actually, now you mention it. Okay, so this will be... Let me resave that so that I can set the background correctly. There we go. Okay. A river is more of a trench with water. Trenches feel longer than holes. Okay, and while I was doing that, I just realized I should add some shading to the bits here where the grass meets the dirt, so it looks a little bit more depthy, if you know what I'm saying. Add some depth charges. I'm gonna go ahead and make this less messy. Add some little grassy bits here, just to make it look a little more grassy. Degrassi Junior High. That one's for Julia, and any other Canadians who might be in the stream. Sorry. I don't think that was a very favorable reaction. But that's fine. I don't get very favorable reactions most of the time. Okay. Let's save that one more time, now that it actually has some semblance of grass. And if we're very lucky, I will actually make this work when I put it together for the first time. And what I want to happen is I want to make sure that the room looks good and you can walk between both rooms. Okay, that's better. That will not cause Harley to go into the pond. All good, but I do gotta go. Unrelated. Thanks for showing juice. Thank you for stopping by, Julia. It was good to have you. Everyone go check out the Crimson Diamond. Alright, so, yes, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the foreground works, because I need to put in the views for the foreground here. Environments, particles, my foliage view. Here we go. I have a special foliage view for all of my juice effects. It's pretty sad, but not really, because you gotta juice it up. Alright, so this is going to be foreground, scenes 51. Where is 51? I really wish you could alphabetize your folders or put them in numerical order. Wait, Julia's Canadian? Said like Homer Simpson saying Mel Brooks is Jewish? Yes, Julia lives in Toronto. room 2. Okay, there's that. And we will add the poison ivy as well. Doop-a-doo. Cool. All right. Uh-oh. That does not seem to have translated well. That, in fact, looks like the black box is not opaque. Let's see how that looks, because if it doesn't look good, I'm going to have to redo it. Where did it go? Poison ivy. Here we go. 51. Poison ivy. No, that looks okay. I was gonna put it on this tree, right? Yeah, this tree here. Where did I put it actually? Let's see here. Poison ivy vine. Yeah, there, that tree. Right where that meets that, to make a nice little tangent. Okay. So the poison ivy goes there. Visible false. I guess it looks fine, even though you can see the black thing in the view. You can't see it on the sprite, so I'm gonna guess that you just can't see it. Let's see what it looks like in the image preview. 17. Where did it go? Here it is. Oh, wait, what? You can see it there. Weird. I'm gonna assume that it's just an AGS editor thing, because you hopefully will not be able to see it in the game. But we'll see. Remains to be seen. Oh. Interesting. Okay, alright, let's do this. My microphone is going to cut out again when I do it, but let's see. First and foremost, let me go ahead and change this so that we should be able to see the foreground again under room load. If encounter counter is equal to 0 for set view foliage 04.animate, and that is loop 14, I believe. Rosewater lost in translation. Game engines love this color pink. Unity uses it too. Yeah, it's pretty eye gouging, alright. It is to poke your eye out. Something done goofed, yeah. 15. 15 is the magic number. 15. Let's do it at 5. Repeat. No block. I think that is how I had it. Also, yes. Yellow flowers for animate. Yeah, 5. Okay, so then 04 dot set view foliage 04 dot animate 16 5 repeat no block. Okay. And then we will also say poison ivy set view foliage poison ivy animate 17 5 repeat no block. Nope, not 0, no block. Poison ivy dot visible is equal to true. And now I'm going to say, actually, you know what? Let's do this because it's easier this way. Cut that. Room leave. Yes, okay. So we do all that stuff. Yes. Oh, boulder visible is equal to false. Oh, shrine is equal to visible to false. Oh, poison ivy dot visible is equal to false. So basically just knock everything out every time you leave the room. Oh, poison ivy, poem by Robert Frost. I don't think so. Not to my knowledge. Okay, so after fade in, we'll have Harley walk over here. Copy mouse coordinates. After fade in, room 51. If previous room is equal to 51, yes. Okay, so if encounter counter is equal to 10, hunting, then no. Else. Here we go. If room config is equal to 1, then we have player.walk there, eblock e anywhere. Cool. Let's test to see how this is gonna look. Run, you pigeons, it's Robert Frost. Yeah, that's one of my favorite lines in that game. Here we go. Ready to slow everything down and cut out the mic. Check, check. All right, Mike is back. This is gonna run it as a crawl. Maybe I should get the new version of OBS. I think there's a new version of OBS. I don't know if there is actually. I'll have to check for an update once I'm done streaming here. Any minute now. Any day now. There we go. Okay, so scene skip shrine. So this is our little placeholder bit here. Blah blah blah. Blue blue blue. Zippy zippy zippy. Go away. And now I'm going to overwrite my save as shrine test because this will be where we continue. Excuse me, continue from. So we go to bed. Good night. The next morning, chirpy chirpy, the birds are all singing, tweet tweet, or at least they will be once I get a forest sound effect for this. All right. So let's see if this works. All right, foreground, okay, foreground needs work because the foreground is moving too much and it's coming out of frame. So that's one thing we gotta fix later.
Doubt it.
All right. So that right there is a problem. So yeah, no biggie. All right. So now we come up this way. Oh no! I forgot to set room thing, so now it's doing that weird thing. And also, this also needs to be fixed because this is not at the right place where it should be. Well, this is psychedelic. But look, it's the poison ivy's actually moving correctly, so that's good. Alright, let's get out of here. And so, what did we learn, Charlie Brown? We learned that this needs to be at a different, the foreground needs to be at a different level here if it's going to be, it needs to be 1 pixel lower, I think. And I also need to fix that. But more importantly, I need to make sure that when the room loads, it loads the correct thing. So room load, if room config is equal to, well, this is later. If room config is set to 0, set background frame 0. This is what I forgot to do. Set background frame 1. So that's, well, that will fix it now. Schrodinger's forest, yes. Yeah. Also, hello, Sir Biddle. Let's do that again. This is what happens when you use multiple backgrounds in the same room and you forget to switch them around. That's, you get all sorts of weird shenanigans like this. So we'll go back to Shrine Test from before. Howdy, been playing some AGS games and would like to dig into the editor again soon. Well, by all means, go for it. It's a great editor to make point-and-click adventure games. Maybe some other stuff if you're ambitious, but mostly point-and-click adventure games, obviously. Okay, once again, back to this. So yeah, I gotta fix that. Blah, blah, blah. Ooh, break a shrine. Alright, let's see here now. Okay, there we go. That's better. Now to make sure that the walkable areas work. Okay, so Harley can still walk into the pond, which is not what I want to happen here. So obviously I need to remove walkable area 3, which I thought I had. But I guess it resets when you restart the room somehow? I don't know, because this should not be a walkable area, and this should not be a walkable area. So that's a problem. So what happens if we click here? Nothing happens if we click here because I haven't set that interaction yet. So great. You're gonna run. Alright, bye Nick. Take care. Sups. Hello Edmunditor. I'm trying to code this room and running into all sorts of hilarious bugs. And the poison ivy is at least working, so there's that. Alright, so let's have a look at the manual real quick, because I was under the impression that remove walkable area is permanent, but I guess it's not. Remove walkable area. When the player leaves the screen, all the walkable areas are reset. Therefore, if you want an area to remain off when they leave the screen, you will need to set a flag. Then run the remove walkable area in the player enters room event when they return. Well, there you go. Alright, so room config is equal to 0. If room config is equal to 0 and player.previous room is equal to, wait, no, hang on, we just want that to happen normally. Okay, if room config is equal to 0, blah blah blah, and I removed walkable area 3, so let's do this. Let's remove walkable area 3 in room config 1, and also I only want to have walkable area 1, honestly, available here. So we want to get rid of walkable area 4 and 6. And 5, actually. And 4, 5, No, wait, 3, 5, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's what I want to get rid of. Remove walkable areas. 3, 4, 5, and 6. If room config is 1. If room config is 0, then I want to remove walkable areas 3 and 4. No, 3 and 5 actually. Definitely want to remove walkable area 5. And I want to remove walkable area 3 after fade in. So if previous room is 51. Okay. If room config is equal to, if encounter counter is hunting, else if room config is equal to thing, okay, else if room config is equal to 0, then we remove walkable area 3 after we come into the room, because why not? That blinking forest would fit in Techno Babylon. Maybe. You know, I've never played Techno Babylon. I shouldn't admit that, but I've never actually gotten around to playing Techno Babylon. Bye, Deluxe Tux. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, so the other thing I was gonna do was when you click on the exit, I changed Lola to the wrong place. Exit 3 interact 900 900. I guess I should change them to 1000. 1000. See Lolabod dot unlock view. Range room 1000. Okay. And then after fade in, because we want this to be correct. After fade in, if room config is equal to 1, then player walk 590 685. See Lolabod dot unlock view. See Lolabod dot walk. Let's say, oh, I don't know, 650 685. No, I'll have the player walk first. No block anywhere. Wait 40 and then have her walk in. E block E anywhere. And then we will do position characters. And we'll have her go over here because she's not in a walkable area, so wait, hold on. Right. I'll have her come over here. 1100 608. There we go. Hopefully no one finds a snake in their boot when walking in the forest. You know, I've never seen Toy Story either, so any of the Toy Stories, so that reference, while I get it, is not 100% right on, or rather, I don't, I get it, but I don't, I've never seen the source, is what I'm saying. Okay, so let's go back up here. Follower Lola is equal to true, player 51. If object is visible thing, else if object poison ivy is visible, because this is what I'm using to check the room configuration, which is object 3. If object 3 is visible is equal to true, then that means we have room config 1. Alright, so 1100 608. That is too much. 100. 608. Down left. Cool. What does position characters do? I assume it's a custom function. Yes, it is a custom function. It basically lets the characters, if you have someone following you on screen, it makes them walk to a specific point on the screen in a non-blocking way, so you don't have to wait for them to do it to get to where they're going before you can start exploring. For someone that makes a cowboy game set in the woods, you sure don't watch cowboy movies with cowboys named Woody. I guess I don't. No, sorry. Also, that's only partly set in the woods. It's mostly set in the desert, and part of it's in the woods, and then, yeah. So when she comes into the screen, she's being followed by Lola. So Lola walks in with her, she blocks, and then once they both enter the screen, then position characters just makes her walk over to where I've determined that she's going to walk, and then she faces the proper direction when she finishes. That's essentially what it does. Okay, so with regard to hotspots, let's do this. Let's say then hotspots here, exit 4 interact, player walk to where they came from, which was player, well, actually start cutscene and end cutscene, because we want that to happen. Start cutscene, mouse click, oops. I'm gonna sneeze. Can I mute before I sneeze? Yes. Excuse me. Let me drink some water. Whoops. Okay. Start cutscene, end cutscene. So we will have her walk to, after fade in, go to the spot where she walks, which is 590,685. Just scroll to the bottom here. Player walk 590,685, v block anywhere, and then we have player.walk 590, 1000, no block anywhere. We wait 40, and then we have Lola follow her and see Lola walk. I guess we'll have her walk to where she walks to, which is 650, all that good stuff. But we do that as no block. And then player wait while moving. So we wait until we get there. And then player dot change room 51. And then the coordinates are the ones that I do when you go to exit 3, which is right here. Oh, look at that. How handy. Walk 618, 391. Alright, so change her to 3, 51, 618, 391, E direction down. Okay. And then Lola is going to be... Alright, so she's... Hold on. Walkable areas. There we go. 618, 381, which is like here? Yeah. Actually, I'll change her to 618... No, you know what? Let's change her to 604, 414. And then we'll have Lola behind her. See Lola bod unlock view, and C Lolabod change room 51, and we'll change her to, well, she's gonna walk away from Harley, so she should be on the left. So let's have her be up here at like 605 390. Yeah, 605 390 works. E direction down. Okay, cool. Wait 40? Yes. 40 is a good time to wait. It's not a whole second. It's slightly less than a second. Maybe I should wait it. Maybe I should say wait 70. Alright, so, and then of course room config is equal to 0. Because we have to change the room configuration when we leave the room. And then, yeah, so we'll leave it at that. Room config 0. Now, after fade in, again, if player previous room is equal to 51 and room config is equal to 0, now, here's the thing, because room config is going to have a bunch of other things. So, remove walkable areas 3. So, if player dot y is equal to 414, if player y is equal to 414, then we'll do this, because otherwise position characters. Okay. If player y is equal to 414, then we have her walk down to here. Actually, we should have her walk to where she originates from when you use that point. So 590, 578. Player dot walk 590, 578. E block, E anywhere. But also we have to player dot set walk speed to 8, 5. That is what I did there, right? This code is getting crazy. 8-4, no, 8-4. Okay. Work smart, not hard, but also make sure that your code isn't ridiculous. Here we go. Player set walk speed 8-4. Player walk there. No block, because we want to have Lola walk as well. We will wait 40. Then have C Lolabod unlock view. C Lolabod walk 590, 578 is like here. I don't want her to walk there. I want her to come more towards the center here, like 606. Yeah, let's do that. Let's change. First of all, let's get Lola to walk over here. So that's fine. And then I'll change where Harley goes, because I want her to be more in the center. 5-3, 585, E block, E anywhere. Also, C Lolabod dot set walk speed 8-4. C Lolabod set walk speed 8.6. Player set walk speed 8.6. But then also change that to, I want her to go here. Which is 597, 584. So now when you use exit 3, then she should walk here first. Okay. All right. Let's see if I have successfully done this. We should now be able to walk between rooms. Have you heard about the tween module? It's great. Yes, I do. I mean, I have. I use it all the time, obviously. But I was just saying, I convert game cycles to seconds in my head. Oh, thank you for the subscription, Ambrosine0. 46 months, that's a long time. Okay, let's try this again. Shrine test. Blah, 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 blue, 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 go to bed, good night. 35 months here, that's also very impressive. It's been a long time. I've been making this game for a long time. Of course, I used to stream before when I was making Lamplight City, so there's that. Okay. I definitely have to fix that stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, so she walks over that way, and we walk over this way. Let's go up this way. Come in from the bottom. They both come in from the bottom. Lola goes over this way. And turns around. Perfect. Okay, cool. Except I'm going to make them slightly further apart because she's a little too close there. Stops right at the edge of the pond. So maybe I should push the pond up even more because I don't want it to be that close. Harley can only walk this far, so that's fine here too. And if we talk to her, we come over here and talk to her. Like, hey, yo, Lola, let's talk. Cool. Alright. And then if you, nice color to keep your distance, that's poison ivy. Oh. I don't think the room edges are correctly defined here. Either that or she needs to stand somewhere else. Because that should not be going off screen. Also, yes, this needs to be down 1. Okay. Well, let's try this again. That was the second part I was going to try. So now she walks after you. Okay, I can cut the... That's good. Alright, well that works. So that's good. Except, hold on a second. There was something funky happening with the scaling there. Let me just make sure for a minute that... Follow me, follow me. Okay, so she should stay there, and she does. I thought there was something weird with the scaling, but I guess not. Okay. Cool. And then she walks over here. Hey, what is it? Let's keep looking. Goodbye. Alright, cool. And then of course we have this whole section now to do because I have to go, I can go left and I can go right. And yeah, that obviously needs to be pushed down 1. Okay, maybe it was just my imagination then. Alright. So a few more fixes I need to make, but overall, I would say that, yeah, it's pretty decent looking. Actually, let me see something real quick, because I want to make sure that I'm not screwing up this. Let's see, rabbit, blah blah blah. Okay, see, because here, it's fine. Oh, wait, no, it's not that fine. Maybe it is fine. I don't know. I can't really tell. Nope, 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 no. It definitely needs to be 1 pixel down. And it also is going off screen there, too. So, if I full screen it, which... that's the best way of telling if it's off. Yeah. Okay, so it needs to be 1 pixel down and 1 pixel to the left. Yes, alright. Right. Okay, so back to room 51. Oh, what happened there? Oh, there we go. Back to room 51, and we'll set our objects are specifically 4. We'll move it. It should be 999. There we go. And yeah, start X should be, I guess, -1. Maybe. Let's see how that looks. Should the bushes be swaying in opposite directions where you have one on each side? Yeah, they probably should. Well, if the wind is blowing like one way, they would both be going the same way. Sorry, as I was saying, I have to redo them anyway because the intensity is too much and they move too much. So I have to fix that. And but I partially blame that on the fact that Juice was running so slow when I tried doing that. Oops. Alright, let's do that again. Save as shrine test. Okay. Yeah, it needs to be way more subtle because the edges are definitely coming off the sides of the screen. So, I'm just gonna make it wobble just a tiny bit. Oh, I see what you mean. They should actually be going in the opposite direction. Like this, the wind should be blowing this one. They shouldn't be like going. Right now they're going like this. They shouldn't be going like this. They should be going both be going like this or like this in the same direction. So yes, I do need to fix that anyway. So 2 things I need to fix: the intensity of the wind and also the direction of the wind. And I also need to make the pond edge higher because I don't want Harley to be able to like walk into the edge of the pond. So, but other than that, pretty happy with the navigation there. But also, it's 3 p.m. and now my time for streaming is done. But thank you all for coming and accompanying me on this lovely journey. I am going to continue working on this and hopefully have a playable alpha build by the 13th, Monday the 13th. So if you are interested in testing, keep an eye out. I will be putting a call on Discord as well as Twitter to join my Discord. So yeah, if you wanna alpha test, be on the lookout. So yeah, but of course I always have to put the caveat now of please only do it if you have serious time to dedicate to the prospect, because it needs a lot of testing. Anyway, is the demo only available through disc? Disc? Like printed on a disc? No, the demo's available on Steam. You can get the demo right now on Steam for free. Oh, you mean is the alpha only available? Well, I mean, I have a private Discord channel for the testing notes, so I would prefer to have the testing be done on Discord, because that way I have a specific place to have the notes compiled and stuff. I don't like using Trello or anything like that. So anyway, thank you all for coming. I will see you next time, next Wednesday, unless I decide to stream on Friday, which I probably won't, but we'll see. Anyway, bye. Have a nice afternoon, evening, or whatever it is.